Jaronism. Well, Mr. Trump, pick me to be the head of NASA. Feel free to contact me if you'd like me to step in as the new NASA head administrator. I am available. All I can say is that if I were the head of NASA tomorrow, the world would know the truth. I love science. I really do. But I love real science, not the science that we are given today.
Yeah, you can get him out. Yeah, get him out. Get him the hell out of here. Get him out of here. Get out. Get him out of here.
People who know me personally know that I am not a fool. I have a degree in math, and I have a Juris Doctorate, and I have been practicing law for almost 30 years. Some of these people who will watch this know that I have won some incredibly difficult jury trials. A jury trial is not a simple thing. Many attorneys avoid them at all costs because they are so difficult and so stressful. And I have won some cases that people would think that you could never win. But we have been deceived. And now I want to show you the simplest, irrefutable flat earth proof. So let's look at the first flat earth proof. You see the globe? Now consider an airplane. Okay, this airplane is going to fly always at a level altitude with respect to the Earth. And any of you who have studied the flat Earth ideas know that there is an equation that describes how much curvature is in the Earth from given distances, and that is defined as 8 inches times the number of miles squared. So that if you go through that calculation, you can figure out how far below the horizon something should be from a particular distance. And the idea also is that as a plane would traverse the globe, it would have to be always adjusting its nose a little bit down in order to continue at a level altitude. Now, if you consider this plane going to the east here, just going to the east, you see that the plane always seems to be level with respect to the Earth, and then, if it keeps itself at a level altitude, then it will just simply land at a country on the other side of the globe. Okay? That's easy to see when you're going east and west, but what about when you're going from north to south? And this is the proof, and you can't deny it. So you start your journey at the Arctic, as far to the north as you can. And you begin to go south. Now notice, as I'm going south, I have to continue dipping the nose of my airplane in order to stay level with the ground. Now I'm going to continue all the way to Antarctica. Now notice, I'm continuing to dip my nose down to stay level with the Earth. Now I'm going down into South America, continuing to dip down, and finally I get down here to Antarctica. And look at that. My airplane is upside down. Well, you're going to say, well, we know that people that are in the southern hemisphere are still standing right side up. Everybody stands right side up on the Earth. We know that. But yet you just flew down here. You're upside down. You cannot refute that. Your airplane is upside down and your head is facing down. It has to be true because you have had to adjust your nose by a full 180 degrees so that now you are absolutely upside down.
Gravity, you fucking retard! Gravity! Have you ever heard of fucking gravity? Gravity! Gravity!
So anyway, I'm gonna hear a little pull out down the road. I wanted to show this. You can see the NASA cartoon that shows the meteor coming in at an angle. And I was gonna ask the lady, why is the crater look like a volcano depression, and that if it was a rock from the sky, why does it look like a 90-degree impact rather than the 45 or so that they show in the cartoon? And this is a big question for globe earthers. Why are meteor craters look like this? Huh? They call it a meteor crater as if some rock fell from the sky, when it's just it looks more like a sinkhole or some kind of volcanic maybe depression. Or it could just be a big sinkhole. I don't know exactly. So that's just they mentioned NASA on this brochure. This is one of the first discovered craters, and big questions about what it is. And you can see out here this flat plain that I'm on, and as I pan here to let's see it over the little hill here, but you can see that mountain distance barely. Zoom in better to really see it, but we're probably about 40 miles, give or take, maybe about 30 or 40 miles from that mountain. And the fact that you can still see it is another proof question. If we lived on a spinning ball, there should be expected curvature. I'm just going to conclude this video real quick so I can throw a stick with the dog. But these are questions that are, in my mind, proof for flat terrestrial plane. The horizon is the separation or convergence point for the flat terrestrial plane versus the celestial sphere. As we measure the sky from our point of view, we measure in arc minutes and arc seconds. And water is flat and level. I was hoping against odds that it wouldn't cost an arm and a leg to get in, or at least I could have a trail or something to look around and just walk the ridge or something to the crater, but of course it's all a tourist thing. It's like $18 to get in.
Hey, by the way, you're not living where you think you're living. The people that leave their body and go astral projecting supposedly go all over. They go up, they go out. Have they ever looked back and seen the shape of Earth and came back and said what they saw? In all the years of psychic readings and mediumships that's been done, has any spirit ever come back and said, hey, by the way, there's no globe? Because I'll tell you, it was a deer running. If I were in spirit form and somebody summoned me, I think one of the first things I would say is, hey, by the way, you're not living where you think you're living.
I want to also get back to space itself. Now, these globe people are always talking about, flat earthers don't explain anything. They can't explain anything. Well, you have to remember too, whomever you are, who believes in the globe, you're not seeing everything. You've got to see the big picture.
I am not the only person who has noticed this. but round earthers expect to be spoon-fed and coddled and given answers to every question that they have. Otherwise, they cry like the little babies that they are. Now, it's not all laziness, and in some cases, although not many, in some cases it is busyness. I know some people who are they're smart enough to get it. They're not lazy at all. They're just too busy to really put the time in it takes to really grasp the concept or do the research or the experiments yourself. But this video is going to be a rant about the lazy people. The people that are too lazy to do anything themselves. They want you to do it all, and they want you to do it all because they're used to having everything done for them. They're used to having everything spoon-fed to them day in and day out. They sit in front of their TVs, and they're just lazy. They're too lazy to look up anything. And so I've written down this list here of ideas and concepts and struggles that I've had to go through dealing with these people. Now, some of these are instances that I'm not going to name any names, and I'm sure as hell not going to worry about these people watching this video because they're too lazy to do even that. But here's how it happens. I have been going through this flat earth stuff for almost a year. Next month will be a year, and in that year, I have been asked this one particular question over 50 times by people that were too ignorant to even grasp the flat earth concept. This is the question. What's the link to NASA.gov's image of the day?
I learned that science too from, a little tiny person. I was looking at the science. I love science. I was reading about all the theories, and exactly that's what it is. It's theory. Everything that you throw back at the flat earthers, globalists I'm talking to now, everything you throw back at them is a theory you learned. I learned those theories too. I learned, how the moon was formed from the earth and molten this and molten that, and there was all these different theories about how the moon got there, thrown off, from the earth or whatever. But we're looking at the moon right now, and we're observing different things, and they are contrary to what we've learned. They're contrary to what NASA says. Even with the planets, they'll say, well, the planets are all round. Why isn't the Earth round? Well, how do we know the planets are round? That's what's in question. And they're observing just ordinary people with good telescopes and cameras who are observing these planets, and are not the same thing that NASA is showing us. So anyway, I'm trying to fit some things in here, and trying to keep a train of thought, but it's hard because my mind is bouncing around, and I do want to get things in.
Laziness of these people, it's so absurd. These are the people that are going to sit in front of their TVs and think that Earth is round because they're too lazy to even get up and go fucking look. They don't care. They're going to argue about the situation before finding out what the facts are or what people are even saying. Let me tell you something, folks. When I heard about flat Earth, first 2 seconds I thought, this is fucking stupid. The third second I thought, they might have a point. We don't really have first-hand information. That might be their whole point. I didn't think that they thought the Earth was flat. I thought that they thought this is something that we should prove for ourselves, and we need to make people think about thinking for themselves, and I thought the idea was brilliant. It took me 8 minutes to put my phone down and go to my computer and do some research for myself. I didn't call anybody any names. I didn't call anybody retarded. I didn't tell anybody that I was a professional and had knowledge that they didn't have and that they were stupid for believing this. I stopped everything I was doing, and I wanted to hear the entire story. If there was somebody out there that thought that they had facts that proved flat Earth, I wanted to hear it.
You think that when the man arrives at Antarctica, he just gets out with his feet planted directly on the ground and he's fine, just like we are taught to believe. But you're not seeing this. Watch. Here's a guy who is the pilot of this airplane, and when he gets in the airplane, he sits down and his head is up, just like that. Okay? Now, as that airplane goes to Antarctica, I showed you how he would have to continue dipping his nose 180 degrees finally to when he arrives at Antarctica. He is like this. Look at that. His head is facing down with respect to his original position. It makes no difference that you think he's going to get out and plant his feet at the bottom of the world and still stand upright there. That's not my point. My point is, he began like this. He flew to the bottom of the earth, and while he did that, he had to turn his airplane to stay with the contour of the earth, and he himself is upside down. He has flipped totally 180 degrees. That's the point.